Yeah, so I'm going to be creating my final March weekly spread in today's video. Whoops, forgot I had sound on my iPad, so sorry if you can hear that. Yeah, so these are my weekly spreads beforehand. A bit of a sneak peek because I'm going to be filming a flip through as well soon. So this was week 1. I've done this whole set in like a Dutch door, which means, you know, when you cut a section out so that the pages can be seen on all of the other pages, if that makes sense. So this is obviously part of the back page, but you can see it on all the weekly spreads. Yeah, so I thought it would just be a fun thing to do and put a live on the channel again. I don't do many of them, I've only done one before, so let me know if you like them and I can always do more, but I thought this would be a bit of a change to the normal Friday upload, and it would allow me to show you my weekly spread process, I guess. So yeah, this was week 1 for March. I went with the vertical ones. Then I did this kind of pattern, which I think I did for the first time in January this year, and I really like it. Because the sections are quite small, it makes it look really full when you've put your to-do lists on, which I quite like. So yeah, I'll probably continue using this sort of setup each month now that I've found it. This is week 3, which is this week's. Yeah, just like a standard horizontal one. Again, I'm just using the little like trail of the bees to divide up the days, like I've done here and I've done here as well. So I'll probably carry that through into this week's one. So it's time to plan out week 4. Normally I would have done the pencil first, but I've been kind of skipping the pencil in my last few videos, so I thought it might be fun, well, maybe not fun, but you know, interesting for you to see the whole process, including the pencil. The only thing I have done beforehand was count the boxes along so that you don't have to watch me count to 8. So the separation, I'm going to be doing the vertical columns again, just because other than that really busy spread, I quite like the vertical columns because a lot of my to-dos are quite short. So like I like abbreviate it for myself. So I'll put, I don't know, post Etsy, because I have an art Etsy shop. So it doesn't fill, if I do like this one, it doesn't fill all the way along. So yeah, I just quite like the vertical ones for the aesthetic. So I thought that's what I would do this week. So it's 8 along, and then there's a gap, and then 8 along, and then a gap. So I'm going to draw up the line in the gap between the 8 box width, if that makes sense. And again here, actually I might press a little bit harder because I'm not sure how well you can see. Because yeah, obviously when I'm doing it off camera, I wouldn't press very hard at all, so it's easier to rub out, but otherwise it's kind of hard to see on camera. So let's do this. And then I always like to sketch everything out in pencil first and then go over the top in pen. My pens are really good. They're this set that I got off of Amazon. I will link it in the description. It won't be there yet, but I'll do it afterwards. It's also in the description of all my other videos. So yeah, they're off Amazon, but they're really good because when you've put pencil underneath and you do the pen over the top, it can sometimes, you know, smudge or something, but these pens are really good. They don't smudge at all. So they also don't run with the other pen, like when you put felt tips over the top either. So highly recommend those. Okay, so one of the things I've been doing to make all of the pages fit really well together with this Dutch door effect is I've been creating this. I'm not sure if you can see, this is separate, but it joins up with the back page, and the same on this side. I've tried to make it all join up so it's the same colours, the same shape. It's been a little bit tricky because on some of the sections, if you can see, there's like an extra part of the back one on the new page, so you end up with a funny little section of it across the top. But I think that's just helped making it all blend in, and when you turn the pages it makes it really look like it's on the same page, so that adds to the effect. So as this is the 4th and final week, it's already got the back page section complete, which has been the page that's shown through on all the other ones, but we have got to do the left hand side. So I'm going to quickly sketch it in pencil and then probably the first thing to do will be go over the top in pen for these. And I think this really helps the page. Like I said, it blends them together really well, and it's quite a fun little section to colour in. Not so easy when I am filming because I have to keep the book really straight. I don't know about you guys, but often I'll have the book quite turned and then I'll draw like this. I always used to do that at school as well, but yeah, when I'm filming, probably wouldn't be so good to watch if the book was always turned around. But yeah, that's that little bit. So let's get the fine liner. So for this, I am using the 0.2. It's pretty much the same one that I use throughout this set of spreads, except for the little trail behind the bee. I've been using the 0.05. So let's do this. Not ideal with my shaky hands, but that's the thing, like they say people who are good at art tend to have really steady hands, but apparently I missed that memo. And there we go. See that, like, there is really tricky because it's just on the edge of the paper, but it's to join up the pattern. It's also a little bit tricky because the dots aren't exactly identical, so they don't always line up, but I think at a quick glance you get the gist. Like here, for example, it doesn't quite line up, but yeah, it's good enough. I'm trying to learn not to be too picky with all of these spreads because I make them so often now. I even make extras like for content for brands, and I make extra ones for YouTube videos and stuff. So if I was getting stressed out by how the odd mistake wasn't perfect, then it would be taking me an awfully long time to do all of these spreads. So I'm a little bit more relaxed. You know, for example here, I kind of coloured over the line a little bit, but no one really cares. Yeah, so that is the basic pen section done there. Then let's do some little bumblebees. So I did this on the first weekly spread, use some little bumblebees, so I'll do the same thing again, but I might use slightly smaller ones. So it's just like a squidged oval shape with 3 black sections and 2 yellow sections in between, and then 2 little wings on the top. But they're not particularly neat, but it's just meant to be quite cute and cartoony. So I'm going to include one on each line this time, I think, because I did slightly fewer on week 1, but on all the other spreads I've done more than that. So there we go, and then we're going to have the dotted lines and little loops and stuff, which I think makes it look really cute. Cool, let's do the little bumblebees in the pen now. I think originally when I started these spreads I was doing the 0.1 pen, but I've changed my mind and I actually prefer it in the 0.2 just because when I do the black sections the felt tip is quite thick in comparison to the fine liner, obviously. So if I go slightly over the lines it's quite noticeable. So using the slightly thicker pen helps with that. But as you can see, I often go around the oval and then straight into the wings. It with one line, I don't know why, but that seems to work pretty well. I guess it's just a bit of time saving or something. There we go. Can't do it obviously if I start in the wrong location, but sometimes it's quite fun. I kind of do that and like challenge myself to see how much I can create with just one line, but I wouldn't recommend doing that if you're trying to make it perfect because it is a little bit distracting. Here we go. And I always rub out the pencil once I'm finished everything with pen over the top. For example, I need to keep these pencil lines in until I've done the little trail because the reason they're there is just to make sure each of the sections are evenly distributed. Even though, as you'll see now, so we just do little dots, line dots, I guess. They're really short and you try to make them follow in a curve, but like you don't want them just to be straight, otherwise that would look a little bit boring. And you see they're kind of flows, but it generally divides up the page evenly. Even though some bits will flow this way and then that way, it's still fairly accurate. And I like to do these little swirls, so they like loop around. Something about that just really makes me think of bees, and it's really cute, so we love cute on this channel. Everything cute is very welcome here. And you don't have to make it connect from the front of the bee to the back of the bee. As you can see on both of these, you can't actually tell which is the front or the back. I've not put like a little face or anything on it. Should I take it all the way down? Maybe I should. That's also something I change my mind about quite often. Whether I'm going to extend the design to the very edge of the page or not. I don't usually, I have to say. Just because it's like, it is actually quite hard to make it all look nice when you go to the edge of the page, because you no longer have the dots. You can then start making it a little bit messy, and yeah, but for some things like this where it's really easy just to extend it, I think it kind of completes the look of the page. So I think that is it for the pen for now, so I can rub out the pencil underneath. And as you can see, we've only just done this pen, but there's no smudging at all, which I really like. Don't always get that, especially with like biros and stuff. They can stay kind of wet for longer. And then I'll also rub out all of the pencil underneath the little hexagons up at the top, the like honeycomb section. But it also doesn't need to be fully rubbed out, because even when the pen is coloured over the top, you can still rub out and that doesn't smudge either. So win-win. The pens I use to colour are Crayola Super Tips, which I think are pretty popular, especially with like bullet journal stuff. Everyone seems to use those, but it's for good reason. Like, they don't smudge. You can also blend them quite well if you want to. You can add a little bit of water to them. Sorry, this is the most annoying bit. This is the bit that's always cropped out of my YouTube videos. Me using my sleeve to get rid of all of the little rubbings out. It's just tricky because you don't want to film an entire video and realise you've got loads of rubbings up there. Let me just make sure it's still in the middle. There we go. Cool, so... Sorry, I've got loads of wires under my desk, which makes it tricky to pull my chair in afterwards. Okay, time to colour. I think let's do the honeycombs first. So, as I said, Crayola Super Tips. These are the 3 colours I've been using throughout, which are all the colours that are up in here. So there's a lighter, light lemony yellow, kind of a middle yellow. I don't know, it's a bit more honey coloured, and then this is like almost golden orangey. And in order to make all of these pages fit together, I'm having to do the same colours, obviously, so they match up. So for example, here it's this dark orange, so that will have to be dark orange, and so on. I'm sure you know what I mean. Which colour should we start off with? I'll start off with this middle range yellow, just because it's the first one, and then I'll probably do all of the ones that are this colour that I can see anyway. And then we can do the dark orange and then finish off with the light one. And I have been changing up the way I colour them in. To begin with, I was doing it like this, so you draw around the edge of the shape just so it kind of helps you stay in the lines, and then going on the diagonal. Whoops, there's a bit of fluff there. Okay, that was a bit annoying. Hang on a sec. Tiny bit of fluff on the pen, which was then dragging on the paper. There we go. Sorted. Okay, yeah. And then, what was I saying? Oh, my different ways of colouring in. But then, since then, I've just kind of been doing it really randomly. And although it's not quite as neat because the lines are going across different ways on the different bits of paper, I've just, like I said, not been so bothered about if it's perfect or not. So then we need to check on another page to make sure we get all the colours the same. So the rest of them are actually going to be the middle range yellow and the dark orange, I believe. Yes. Cool. I've also missed the pen under there, so I'll do that in a second. Let's do the darker orange now. So we need to fill in that top little tiny bit, just where the paper's been cut. I actually had real struggles creating this little Dutch door. It's funny because I filmed a TikTok of it, I think, and all you see is me making one cut in the TikTok, but then behind the scenes it took me like 10 minutes. I just like this edge of paper, it was right where the, I don't know what you call this, like the binding of the book is, so yeah, it was just really, really annoying. But we got there eventually. I just was really worried that the pages were going to fall out or something, so yeah, I think if you want to create a Dutch door, just double check what kind of page you're on at the time. If you're on one of those ones that's right at the centre of the book, it makes it a little bit tricky. Okay, and then the paler yellow. That is one thing I love about the Crayola Super Tips. You get so many, well, I guess it depends which pack you buy, but I bought the 100 pack. And you just get so many different colours, like different shades of the same colour, which is so good for when you're making spreads, because especially with bullet journal spreads, you're often going to be using one. Hi to everyone watching, by the way. Sorry, I kind of forgot to check. I've been in bullet journal mode. Yeah, you'll often be using a few colours to create your kind of colour palette for the theme. So to be able to work with multiple colours, so for example in this one with the yellow, there's loads of colours that I can use, so it's not just boring one yellow and black. Okay, time to do the little bumblebees. So for the bumblebees I've been using the mid-range yellow, and like I said, it's the two middle sections, and then black on the other three. Anyway, thank you everyone who is watching. Hope you're having a good Friday. Let me know what you have planned for the weekend or anything. And also let me know if you like the lives or if you just prefer a normal video. If you do enjoy the lives, then I'm more than happy to do them a bit more often. I can't do them every time because obviously the fact that I'm filming it live now means I can't create a TikTok out of it. Unless, I guess one time I could do a live showing how I make the TikToks. So I'd be creating the spread and filming a TikTok whilst filming a live. That could be quite cool. It'd be a bit, you know, like Inception. A video within a video within a video. But yeah, let me know if you would be interested in seeing that. So this is a kind of pale greyish blue that I've been using for the wings, which at first I was a bit nervous, like, oh, is it going to ruin it, because I haven't used this blue anywhere else, which kind of goes against my kind of little rule I have for myself, where any colour that I use, I need to use more than once, like in a different location, to make it not stand out. But I guess it still kind of works, because it's not just one bee. If there was just one, it would maybe look a little bit weird, but I think it's just better than leaving them plain white, so quite like those. And always a good little tip is to try to do the lighter colours before you do a dark one. With this, it doesn't matter so much, because there are, as much as the orange one is darker, it's not a dark colour, is it? Whereas with the black over the yellow or the pale blue, it would really stand out. So let's do the black section now. I have to go a bit slower with this because, like I said, the thick black pen, when you go out of the lines, it's kind of hard to correct it, because the drawing of the bee is in such a thin fine liner that it just kind of distorts the shape a little bit. But yeah, I don't care too much, but I don't want it to look really bad. Kind of like with eyeliner, you know, when you try to do a winged eyeliner and then you mess it up, so you try to fix it and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's basically what happens with these. There we go, next one. And these bumblebees are so basic to draw, but you know, you can clearly see what they are. There's no face on them, no little legs or anything, but just some black and yellow stripes with a cute little set of wings on the top, and you know exactly what it is, which is very good, especially for a bullet journal theme. You need to have something that you can easily recreate, and yeah, so it's good to have something so easy to draw, especially when you have to draw it multiple times every single week. And not even just the weekly spreads, but you need to include it on the like cover page and all those sort of initial pages. See, look, this has happened every time so far, and what I have discovered is, instead of trying to correct it a little bit, I'm not sure if you can even see because it's like quite far away, but basically the black on this one has sort of bulged out of the line. But initially when these were, because it's pretty much happened every time because it's just bound to happen basically, I was trying to correct it with the felt pen itself, and that's just doesn't work. So correcting it with the fine liner is a bit easier. Though I think maybe I've ruined it now, but yes, oh well. Let's ignore him down there. Okay, what is next? So I want to do something a little bit different for the title of where I'm going to write the day of the week. So I think what I'm going to do is use pencil again quickly. I want to create like a honey drop, and it's kind of inspired me by, there's a cool sticker, like a GIF on Insta stories that I've been using at the top of when I post things on my story, that is like honey that sort of gloops and drops. And I just thought that would be a really cool thing to use for a title, like a little heading section. So we're going to see how this goes. I've not tried it out before, I've not practiced it off screen or anything, so if it's no good then just, I don't know, pretend you didn't see it. But this will be where I write the day of the week probably. And I'm trying to make them fairly similar, but each one slightly different, so I'm varying whether I do smaller drops or larger drops, and like in which location the drop is. Yeah, hopefully this is going to look good. If not, then oh well. Okay, shall I do, I think the mid-range yellow would be good for this. And I'm going to do it without an outline first, and if I think it actually needs one, then I will add that afterwards. But I think it might just look better without any sort of outline in the fine liner. And because it's such a small section, you don't need to worry too much about colouring in the specific way. I would still always try to colour in the same direction, but other than that, I don't think it really matters. So, next one. Oh dear, my iPad's going to die. It's actually quite cool having the iPad set up, because normally when I'm creating any sort of spread I can't see what I'm filming, obviously. But the fact that it's on live and I've got my iPad next to me. Oh, it does actually look quite good, to be fair. Looking at it from the bird's eye view via my iPad to see the live stream, I think it does look quite good. So there we go. I'm pleased about that. And then I'll probably also add a little bit of the darker colour to add like a shadow onto some of the sections, and maybe even a bit of white as a highlight, but we'll see how we go. This is the part I actually enjoy the most, like when you've got the basic spread all set up and then you can do the fun parts and the more artistic sections. And if you know me, you know I love a drop shadow, even though I actually, as soon as I go to do them, I just forget how they work. But yeah, I think that could be something cool to add to this one, maybe. And like I said, I can rub out the pencil. You can sort of faintly see it underneath the yellow, but I can rub that out once it's dried off a little bit. Doesn't smudge it or anything, which is ideal. Okay, so they look cool. I'm going to add a drop of honey there. Okay, let's do this darker one for a little bit of shadow. So whenever you're doing any sort of drop shadow, which I'm kind of telling myself this as well because I always seem to mess it up, you need to pick a side. So often I'll pretend that the light source is in the top left hand corner, so any sort of shadow is going to be on the right hand side and sort of below to the right. So on this one, for example, it'll come down this side and go slightly under, and the same here, and the same here. So once I've filled them in, hopefully you can sort of see the effect it's meant to have. You don't take it all the way under, because if the light was actually here, which it actually is, but I've got the curtain open on the other side, so it doesn't quite show. But if it was here, then, for example, you can see my hand, the shadow comes this way. I don't know if that was in screen or not, but yeah, so that is like the basics of it. I'm sure there's more to it than that, but I think for a bullet journal spread, that looks good enough. If you were creating like some sort of pencil study of art, then you might need to know a little bit more about how light works and stuff. But yeah, I think this creates the sort of three-dimensional effect that I was after. And as you can see, it's like really easy to do. I think sometimes when things have a 3D effect, it automatically makes you think, oh, that must be difficult to do or something, but it's really not too bad. As long as you keep in mind that whole consistency thing, then it should be good to go. If anyone tries it out, then let me know how it goes, if that sort of advice is anything useful. And also, if it's useful, maybe I should make a video, like a TikTok on it. Okay, cool. Now I'm just going to let that dry for a second. Oh, hang on, we've got this little one. And then I will rub out the pencil underneath, and then we can write on top the days of the week. So obviously you're probably thinking like there are 6 sections here and there's 7 days a week, but that is because I've discovered recently, like, I don't really plan my weekends as much. I try to not do too much work-wise on the weekends, so it's better if I don't need a whole spread for it. And then obviously an even number divides much more easily when you're trying to create a spread. So if you do want to have 7 though, split it into 8 and then use one of the sections for like the title or a little calendar or even like a mini habit tracker or something. Like, there's ways around it, but I think that's probably better than trying to divide the page into 7, because it's just not going to be as easy to do. So just getting out any of the pencil that's in the colouring section. It's still a little bit wet because normally when I'm not videoing I would maybe leave it a little bit longer, but I can always get anything that I've missed later on. And then again we've got the whole trying to get rid of all the rubbings, which is my least favourite part of all this. It's really annoying, especially when I'm filming a YouTube video, although I can cut out me moving all of this. If I then nudge the book, it just ruins the consistency of the video. So if you see a random transition in one of my YouTube videos, it's probably because I've knocked my book and I'm trying to cover it up. There we go. That's still straight pretty much. Okay, make sure that's dried out enough. I am probably going to use the 0.05 to write the days in, because the sections are quite small. And I will just write the first 3 letters of the day, I think, to make it a bit easier to fit in. And then as well, we've got room to write the date. which is always useful. So I'm using my normal bouncy hand lettering that I've used throughout these spreads, and I pretty much use it in every spread now. I just think it looks really cute, and I've done it so often now that I find it really easy to do quite quickly. When I first started doing this would have taken me like 10 minutes. Yeah, and then for weekend, because I'm keeping in with the 3 letters, I just put end because it makes sense to me. So Monday is going to be the 21st. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and then 26 to 27. There we go. And that is the spread all complete pretty much. And I will then just use these sections to plan like as a to-do list, where I just use a bullet point and draw a line through it once I've completed it, and draw a little arrow if I need to move it to the next day. So for example, that just means to migrate the task in bullet journal language, and I don't do anything more fancy than that. So that is the 4th week of March spreads complete. That is actually my March setup all finished now. So once that is filled in, that will be finished, and one of my next videos, I'm not sure if it will be the next one or maybe the one after that, will be my April setup. So haven't started it yet, no sneak peeks, but looking forward to doing that. Let me know if you have any video suggestions, theme suggestions, anything like that, and also let me know if you enjoyed the live, watching me create live. So hope you had fun. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.